Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Tsukumi-chan, and I'm terribly sorry because I'm probably mispronouncing it. Now he's in the Flint, a tier 7 premium US cruiser. Well, I mean, he's in a tier 7 game. That's quite nice because let's just say the Flint's range makes it incredibly frustrating to play if you're uptiered. There is no carrier, which is also good. You know, when the Flint was released, it used to be a pretty strong ship, but honestly, these days it's with the Captain rework, the Flint lost a bit of range. It used to be 13.3 with Captain skills, but in Wargaming's wisdom, they decided to adjust the range on the Atlanta, but not on the Flint. Actually, the Flint's range has been buffed twice since the Captain rework, but it's still not where it used to be because I guess the truth is the Flint is just not Russian enough. So, so there is that. Now Tsukumi-chan is now pretty much alone here on this flank, and let me just take control of the camera a bit. He's a bit overly fond of zooming here. So we will try to keep a little bit a lid on this, because this is a rather interesting game. Now he doesn't really have too many shots here in Omaha. His biggest issue is also that he basically doesn't have any spotting, right? And all of his other ships are running away. There are, well, the battleships have fled, the destroyer has been taken out. So he's in a Flint, he's utterly blind, and he's sorta-ish trapped behind this island. So, well, I mean, he's found a target there, so he's trying to reverse a little bit to get some shots over the island, but unfortunately he's the one spotting. Well, he technically has a smoke screen, but you know, it's not gonna help. I mean, a smoke screen and he has an island, but without vision, none of those things are going to do anything for him. Now, the advantage is he has torpedoes, so if he's getting rushed, I guess eventually maybe he can do something. Yeah, Flints are not ships you see a lot these days, simply because they are just not that great, I guess. Now, speaking of being rushed, there is a T-22 coming around, but the T ran into a Hydro, so it looks like he's trying to abort this. And Tsukumi-chan got some nice hits there with the back turret, but now he's even proximity spotted, so he's trying to move out a little bit, and he's probably going to deploy a smoke screen, I presume, because there are just so many enemy ships around. Why is he? Yeah, he's using a smoke screen. There is some bad news, though. A T-22 has Hydro. Now, we don't know if the Hydro is ready or not, but there might be an unpleasant surprise at some point. And he can't really rush the T or anything because there's just so many enemies here, right? Now, once again, we see the spotting issue that he has here, and there is the Hydro. I mean, he could... I mean, now it doesn't make sense to sit in this smoke. If he can go out there and shoot the T, maybe he can disengage afterwards. But, you know, there are quite a few ships that are just... Oh, no, the enemy destroyer is also smoking. Now, what he can do is... well, he's trying to blind shoot. Personally, I think I would just try to get out of the 100. Well, he has pretty good smoke fire penalty, so you can see he's actually managed to get far enough away that he is no longer hydroed, and the shooting didn't detect him either. Now the Trento is coming around, so he's decided to go charge there. And again, he might be hydroed again here, but, well, I guess with the island cover it wouldn't matter so much. And, you know, he's farming a lot of citadels against the Trento. Now, Flint is not necessarily a ship where you'd expect to get a lot of AP citadels from. But if the enemy cooperates, that's also very helpful. Now, he's still alone here. The game is not looking good. Actually, he sunk the only ship so far that has been destroyed. Now, the friendlies control the A gap, which they better do, because that's where the entire fleet is, right? Everybody has completely abandoned him. They aren't even pushing it. They are now sitting behind an island at the cap, and it makes no bloody sense. It makes no bloody. So let me take control of camera a bit until we have something to shoot again. Now, I wonder if any of the enemy battleships is going to push him. Yeah, it's interesting because you'd think that with the amount of ships the enemy has, they just push a Flint, right? If they go a little bit further out, I mean, it's a Flint. What's it gonna do? Well, okay, Flint has torpedoes, sure. But if you are not too close, then dodging the torps shouldn't be an issue. And it's not like the Flint carries that many. What is it, like 3 per launcher? Oh, hello, battleship. Now, what I was saying is earlier, if you want to push around, you want to do it a little bit, like, further away. Because, you know, then you aren't going to hit all those torps. And it's 4 per launcher. Now, the Flint's torps have more range than the Atlantis. But, you know, even an Atlantis torps would be good at this range. But, you know, he's used all the torps on one side, now he has to turn his ship around to use the other side. And keep in mind, the Flint isn't exactly armored, so the Cavour could definitely devour him here. But he does have a smoke screen, so he is smartly using that. And with the Hydro he can keep the enemy detected. So the enemy battleship is now in a very awkward spot, because his only chance is to get close enough to proximity spot. And that might even work, because if he went completely nosy, he'd probably only hit 1 and survive then. But instead he decided to turn full broadside, turn away from him, and... So that worked. Now the other enemy ships on this flank are still not interested. The T-22, who was like a major threat with this Hydro, decided that he doesn't want to be there. The Agincourt, Omaha and the Colorado. Well, I guess we don't know if they are still here. Once again, we realize that Tsukumi-chan does not have any spotting, because he is completely alone on this flank, and still he's sunk 2 of the 3 enemies that have been destroyed so far. Now, in a stroke of luck, the friendly Leon accidentally spots something here, and once again we go with armor piercing against another light cruiser that's sailing here completely broadside. What even is this match? I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Omaha was full broadside to torpedo. But I mean, it's a low tier ship. Might have been a nuke. Now, the Agincourt has also abandoned his side and went to the center for some reason. I'm not sure if I'm more confused by the enemy or the friendly's movements. Well, I guess, did the friendly team even really move? I don't know. The enemy team certainly moved. They had the advantage, they could push a single Flint, but instead they all decided they don't care. Now Tsukumi-chan decides that finally he's going to leave, because, yeah, the Colorado is now pushing in right. He could have tried to go for D, but with the smoke he wouldn't have seen the Colorado coming in time. If it left, like, directly towards D, he might be sinking right now. So, this full health Colorado has decided after 10 minutes that it's finally time to press the W key. Might be a bit late. Points-wise, it's actually rather even. The friendlies are 1 ship ahead by now, which is almost sure. But I mean, you know, the enemy team is helping a lot with that. Because the enemy team didn't press their advantage. And I'm not sure what's happening at the A side, but the friendlies are certainly making an aggressive move. So, yeah, I mean, if the enemy team would have pressed the advantage here and then flanked the friendly team would have probably collapsed by now. But the enemy team was most certainly quite confident. Just doing nothing. Now, the Colorado, that has, you know, it took him 10 minutes to actually try to move forward in a top tier battleship. And now he's finally done so, he's gotten shot at, so he immediately turned around. And now he's running away again. Well, there goes the spotting, but to be fair, it was basically on the maximum range of the Flint already anyway.
Smoke generator started.
And I wonder if he's pressed the wrong button here, because that smoke makes no sense. I feel like he might have wanted to press Hydro. But he pressed smoke instead. But, you know, he could be getting ready for exactly that Mutsu, but Well, I mean, the Mutsu is relatively close. Maybe he expected the Mutsu to spot him, so he wanted to prepare in advance with a smoke screen. Because, you know, sometimes 1 second is all it takes. If that Mutsu is aiming this way, coming around here, he gets detected, the Mutsu would get a sub off. So I guess it's possible that he thought, you know, he wants to be prepared for that. Now, meanwhile, while the Mutsu is coming this way, the Ashen Court isn't. Also, it turns out the Mutsu isn't actually pushing. The Mutsu was just, I don't know, quickly passing by. Now, that Colorado is obviously out of range, because this is a Flint and not an Atlanta. But, you know, the Colorado is trying again, right? So his first push didn't work so well, because he was shot at, so he immediately bailed. Now he's turning around and he's like, okay, what about this time? Now, he's starting off with showing full broadside to New Mexico, so he was hurt again. Which could have been utterly avoided by, you know, just keep pushing and not sail around in weird circles. Meanwhile, our Flint has earned a Confederate and a high caliber, which is pretty nice. And oh, he's turning away again. You're so close to becoming useful, Colorado, and you decided not to. Meanwhile, the friendlies are actually winning quite hard by now. While the friendlies lost a lot of ships early on, they just stopped losing them, while the enemy is, I guess, running around like a bunch of headless chickens. And that didn't really help them a lot in winning. Oh, look, there is another battleship that doesn't know where it's going. Like, the enemy, like, they just don't wanna come into friendly territory, I guess. They are just weirdly running around in circles somewhere in the back, not doing anything, showing broadsides, and, you know. Now that Agincourt has passed through not doing anything, but he's gotten a fire for his troubles, isn't that lovely? And look at that! There is a Mutsu coming in range. Well, I mean, thankfully, with the power of Flint angles, should be able to shoot that Mutsu. But the enemy, the friendly hits are at 976 points here anyway. So, yeah, will they sink that Mutsu or will they reach 1,000 points before that? Who knows? I guess we all will know very soon. It's getting close. Which brings us to the results. Tsukimi-chan earned himself 2,263 base experience, and he did really well in his Flint there, and that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to show this, right? The Flint is not in the greatest spot right now, and seeing a Flint do well, it just warms my heart, I guess. And you know, maybe in 2 or 3 patches or 5 patches or so, Wargaming will increase the range again, and she will once again be at 13.3. Well, I still have hopes. Anyway, so he earned himself 150,000 points of damage, got a Confederate and a high caliber, and scored 21 citadels. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.